Hello, and welcome to this virtual walking tour as part of ULI's Environmental, Social, and Governance Symposium. I'm Linda Weichel, Principal of Weichel Consulting Impact Advisory Services, and I'll be the guide for your tour. At this stop, we'll be learning about the Pam McConnell Aquatic Center, and I'll be interviewing Ishmael Afra, Access to Recreation Community Coordinator, and Hani Afra, community worker, resident of Regent Park, and founding member of Access to Recreation. Now, the Pam McConnell Aquatic Center is located at Dundas and Sumac Streets in Regent Park. It's named after the late longtime city councillor and community champion Pam McConnell. It opened in 2012, and it's sometimes referred to as Regent Park's civic crown jewel. The Aquatic Center was the result of a concerted effort by community members and ultimately secured funds from the federal, provincial, and city governments, and a Section 27 contribution from the Trump Tower Hotel in downtown Toronto. It was the first facility in Canada to use only universal change rooms, no longer separating males and females, but instead offering common change rooms with private change cubicles. The facility has been cited as a global best practice in terms of intentional design to accommodate a diverse community. So to hear more about the successes and challenges of this center, I welcome Ishmael and Hani.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Very happy to have you both with us. And I wonder if we can start with one of you briefly describing the Aquatic Center and its significance or contribution to the community and city.
Yes, thank you. I'll give you some description of the community. The Aquatic Center is located in the heart of Regent Park. It's beside the big park. We call it Regent Park. It's very beautiful and it attracts all Torontarians. The Aquatic Center and the Community Center, they were Regent Park long time ago when Regent Park was old and like back in the days. We didn't have a community center, we didn't have a swimming center. So the community came together and put money so they can have the community center and the Aquatic Center. So all effort is to give it to the community. That's how they came about. And after the revitalization of Regent Park, the Aquatic Center and the community center, we got funding from the government and also effort from the community. We were able to design. I remember when we were designing the Aquatic Center, the Daniels, they asked the community, how do you guys like it to look like? How do you want it? We came up with the drapes that come down for Muslim women like me to have privacy, because privacy is very important to us. So we own it like our home, the Aquatic Center and the Community Center. We feel connected because when it was built, it was through the community. And when it was revitalized, it was also effort of the real estate, the Daniels, and also the community. So that's how it came about.
That's amazing, Hani. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And it's a great example of how developers can learn what's important to the community. Now, given the focus of the symposium, we really wanted to get at how development or redevelopment impacts the community around it. And so I wonder if you can speak to the successes or the challenges associated with the Aquatic Center amidst the redevelopment.
Yeah, so as you said, the forces of real estate development and public infrastructure investments have both contributed to the success of this neighborhood, as well as have added challenges that we still face in Regent Park. Greatly collaborations between the use of Section 37 funds, the City of Toronto, and Daniel's, as a developer, have made sure that the process of creating that aquatic center, the Pam McConnell, was that it's inclusive, that it's co-designed. These are some of the great examples that anyone ought to be doing. However, there's still challenges that exist because these are city facilities. And sometimes with city facilities, there are questions around equity and access. We know that as an access to recreation group, immediately we found out that even though it's a free center, is one of the 39 free centers in the city of Toronto because of the population that lives in the neighborhood. However, 2 million people are trying to access that same facility at the same time. We know that the location of the aquatic center is close to the downtown core, and because the city has policies that all the facilities should be open to everybody, getting access by community members who have difficulty of language, difficulty of computer skills. So we're all competing to get into the competitive programs. And we found out that only a quarter of residents are able to get in. So the access to recreation is working hard to make sure that these facilities are accessible and equitable. And part of this neighborhood has two components. It's called physical development, new state-of-the-art facilities, and social development, making sure that there's social impact. So we're working to make sure that these facilities are accessible, and there's been some funds received from the city to make sure that the accessible issues are also dealt. And also the developer, Daniels, has contributed to funds and convened a fund that's $1 million towards social development. So real estate is working with community to not only build these facilities, but when there are challenges, to also provide funding opportunities like for groups like ourselves to advocate. And that is happening. And Regent Park is an example of how real estate and government, though they be challenges, can try and work and solve some of these issues together.
That's very empowering for others to be thinking about how they can have and play a role in their own communities. I wonder, in terms of any advice you would have for others as developments go forward, as builders plan what they're building and how they build it. How can we avoid this kind of impact or implication from an equitable perspective? What lessons can you share that others can learn from?
So they can learn from us. We are an example. Regent Park is an example. We do have challenges now with getting programs because our aquatic center is so beautiful and everybody is attracting everybody. So one of the challenges we had was not getting spaces, lessons for our children. So we had to advocate at the city level and say, this is what's happening in Regent Park. So the city councils actually approved a pilot project where they can fund 2 schools, Nelson Mandela and Lord Dufferin. And those 2 schools are now going to the aquatic center and learning how to swim. So those are the process that we made so far. And that's where they can learn from it, that this is going to happen, because Regent Park is attracting a lot of people. And this is the way we went about advocating for our community. And that's how they can learn to look at, yes, we're making the community beautiful. How about accessibility of the programs that they used to have for free, now that is attracting a lot of people?
That's a great lesson, Hani. And I wonder, as we wrap up our interview, if Ishmael has any final words and message for the real estate industry and government.
The future of this city is the future of collaboration, real estate, government, and community leaders coming together and solving the solutions together. There's heavy responsibility on those who have power, those who have influence, to connect with community, to co-design, like the Regent Park Aquatic, Pam McConnell has been co-designed. And then when there are issues, to open up opportunities and investments to solve the issues together. This has been an example where the City of Toronto, Daniels Corporation, and the Access to Recreation have worked together to solve some of these issues. So collaboration and co-design is the future. And that's what I would advise to everyone.
That's a great, encouraging and inspiring message, Ishmael and Hani. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.